was charged 4 years ago with killing the man who fathered her baby may get the charges dropped.
Saquon is live this morning with the newest, biggest developments in the case that we're expecting to see today. Good morning, Say.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, this is a case that actually goes back to 2022, as you mentioned, when Keshia Golden, who was pregnant at the time, fatally stabbed her then boyfriend during an argument that turned violent. Golden is facing first-degree murder charges in the death of her then boyfriend, Kelvin Sidney. She was originally held on a $2 million bond. That amount was later dropped to $50,000, requiring Golden to pay $5,000 of it. The Chicago Community Bond Fund, which posts bond on behalf of people who can't afford to pay, provided that $5,000 bond required to get her out of jail, which her attorneys and judges at the time agreed was in the best interest of her unborn child. According to Golden's attorney, Sidney had dragged Golden by her hair, and she was forced to stab him in the leg when family members couldn't pull them apart during their argument. Her attorney says Golden acted in self-defense to protect her and her unborn baby, not knowing she hit an artery in Sidney's leg. Her attorney adds that Golden had previously miscarried after she was physically abused by Sidney. Police also tell us there have been over 50 calls made from the couple's home to report abuse. 5 of them were reported between June and September of 2022. And in 4 of those calls, Golden claimed Sidney had choked, punched, slapped, or pushed her. Today, her attorneys will be back here at Layton Criminal Courthouse seeking to dismiss any charges against her, really putting that self-defense at the center of that argument. Her attorney is set to appear in court in a little less than an hour now at 10 o'clock this morning. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Say. We'll be waiting to see if those charges do indeed get dropped later on this morning.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 26, verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Kol Holayim La, Abanawa Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakah Kodash. A double honor to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim out there on the highways and the byways. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Salutations to you speckled birds, you Israelite foreigners. And shalom to the Akwaf, sitting and listening in silence as the scriptures say to do so. Sirach chapter 26 verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man, but a godly woman is given to him that feareth Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. So just to be clear, blunt, and straight to the point, the Lord does not make no mistakes with the women that he gives you and brings into your life, man. And as you saw in this news clip, and as you continue to see, a wicked woman was given to a wicked man. Okay, and furthermore, you women desire, crave, you yearn to have a nigga that ain't about nothing. A nigga that, is basically just a piece of shit. Okay, because you see that man as an alpha male. You see him as unpredictable. You see him as exciting. You see him as, which is true, a man that every woman, every Israelite woman wants. Because you women truly believe in your mind that you can change him. You look at a man as a project. Okay, and then furthermore, if you're able to conquer and master your so-called project, you move on to the next victim. Okay, and furthermore, before I even go into this lesson any further, it's going to be a quick one too. I'm not condoning, and I'm not saying it is okay to put your hands on a woman for any reason. She's the weaker vessel. You shouldn't, especially in this captivity, in this kingdom. You already know as soon as you put your hands on a woman, Esau is going to literally try to, throw the book at you, man. And you will get jail time for this shit. Because trust me, hey, look, man, I speak through experience, man. I speak through all these things when I talk about these women and everything else. I speak through experience. Okay, I've gone through stuff like, as they say, domestic violence and all that, man. Okay, I've had women put their hands and swear up and, all types of shit. I've gone through all types of stuff with my demon and women in general. Okay, but that's my business. Okay, but again, the Lord doesn't make any mistakes, man. So just like this woman is wicked and evil, so was the man that she was dealing with was wicked and evil. Now she knew from the first time a man puts his hands on you, you should not be dealing with that. But also too, I've heard out of a lot of Israelites, women, especially the so-called black women, literally say, literally, okay, if he don't put his hands on me, I don't want him. And furthermore, if he puts his hands on me, that just shows that he loves me. I've heard these simple bitches say this shit. And I've heard women in the truth that know the name Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that understand the complete 144% breakdowns of the precepts. I've heard women in the truth say to me, I deserve to get smacked. I deserve to get hit. Let me read this again. Sirach 26 verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man. Okay, and we also know that everything about this place is, everything's contaminated, polluted, corrupted with the philosophies, the rudiments of Esau's structure, Esau's mindset, Esau's spirit. Okay, so with you indulging and embracing and partaking in the customs of this world, you're mentally and spiritually off. Okay, and Esau's judgment is effed up. Esau's judgment is of himself, man. Now, again, there's no reason for a woman to stay with a man that is literally knocking her upside of her head time and time over and over again. Okay, you lost a child, which it's all of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. At the end of the day, the Lord calls all the shots. But you constantly getting busted upside your head, and because you liked it. And at a certain point, it got to the point where obviously she took a knife and she stabbed this man in his leg. But you have a lot of arteries that pass through your leg, so that's a spot where you can actually bleed out. And it was intended. She could have literally swiped his ankle or anything like that, But let's continue, man. So this was intentional, man. And we know what Yahweh Shem Yahushai states, man. And I'm going to get the precept to prove that point. But our people are miserable. That's all they know is destruction, misery. They don't know peace. And furthermore, a woman does not want structure. She doesn't want security. She doesn't want peace. They want chaos. They want mayhem. Okay, they want the man to be a mystery. They want him to be unpredictable. They don't want a man that has a routine, because they call that routine boring. Okay, but after they passed around and got over 500,000 miles, they seek a man with a security, a man with structure. After they didn't so-called had their fun and went to their whole stage. And again, this is not taking up, because look, she through, man. She's through. Super through. Okay? Super through, man. Like, how could you? I don't, man. I guess there's somebody for everybody, man. Real talk. But let's grab this precept. Romans 3 verses 16 and 17. Destruction and misery are in their ways, because that's all they know. Because destruction and misery is exciting. Okay, it brings forth a joyful day for these people, man. And that destruction and misery is again indulging, partaking in wickedness and evil, man, because that's what Babylon the Great advertises and produces amongst this society, man, is wickedness, evil. Okay, verse 17, and the way of peace they have not known. Okay, so they don't know peace, again, because a woman doesn't want peace. A man wants peace, an actual man that got somewhat of some sense, but especially a man that's seeking and doing what's acceptable and pleasing to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We desire our peace, man. Okay? And, dealing with a woman of this world, you're going to have trouble in the flesh. You're going to have, trials and tribulations and issues with that woman, especially if she's a 2/3. But, a men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai out of one rock to Zah, we are able to examine and thoroughly vet these women that the Lord sends us to be able to know what we're dealing with, to not put ourselves in situations like this, man. Okay, because again, man, as soon as you on both ends, man and woman, as soon as the situation goes to violence, you should depart. But again, it's exciting, that violence and everything else, and it goes into makeup sex, and then it goes into insecurity and jealousy, and then it's just all out. You just punching each other. You're doing all types of manner of wickedness, man. What do they say? You're toxic. That's a real toxic trait. Okay, being masculine and being a man and having standards and again, structure and order, that's not toxic. That's being a damn man. Okay, but hitting your woman, y'all feuding, y'all fighting, y'all arguing, getting the police, the judicial system in your business, that's toxic, man. But again, that is exciting to y'all. You know, you got something to talk about in social media amongst your friends. You know, because you don't want peace, you don't want security, you don't want a correct order, man. Because you look at the stuff in this world, and that's what you embrace. Okay, but again, you know, she intentionally stabbed this dude, so she's supposed to be put to death. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. And furthermore, you're not supposed to be which, you know, Esau, man. Esau's a POS, man. And if you don't know what POS means, look it up. Esau's a true POS, man, because you're not supposed to be having your nose in a man and woman's business, man. You're not supposed to be involved dealing with another man and his woman, vice versa. But you know, that's something that Esau does to cause hell upon you Israelite men. Okay, especially when it comes to DV, she don't got to get no lawyer or none of that. All she got to do, call the police, sign a piece of paper, give them the story, and they'll take care of the rest. Period, man. Okay? You know, why do you think they have the battered women's shelter and all these other programs for women that go through so-called DV? And again, there's no excuse for it on either side. But you women, that's what you like. You like men that ain't nothing, that's chaotic, unstable, emotional, highly emotional. Basically having the traits of the woman of this world, man, because they was raised by women. Okay? And Salakia, when you see these things, you're supposed to again disconnect from that man or that woman, or vice versa, man. Okay, but what do y'all do? Y'all bring forth life, y'all bring forth children, and then y'all are stuck with each other forever. Okay. And then the child got to, you know, go through all this nonsense. So this is the book of Numbers 35. And I'm going to read verse 16. And if he smite him with an instrument of iron, because, you know, she stabbed him with obviously an instrument of iron in his leg, probably above his knee. Okay, because you have a lot of arteries in your leg. So if you actually get hit and stabbed in one of those arteries, you're going to bleed out quickly. Okay. And if he smite him with an instrument of iron so that he die, he is a murderer. The murderer shall surely be put to death. So this woman's supposed to be put to death. But we know Esau's judgment is not correct judgment. We know Esau's judgment is not balanced. It's not righteous. It's always, again, of himself. Wicked. To his own benefit. Okay? Now, again, I'm not condoning her husband putting his hands on her. But again, you women deal with this shit. You women get with these men, again, that are unstable, chaotic, fake thugs. Okay, no nothing ass type niggas. Ain't got nothing going for themselves. And you know, you see this around everywhere you go, man. You see a nigga that ain't got shit, ain't got a pot to piss in, nothing. But he always got a bitch. And I say bitch because that's what these niggas and bitches, man, that's what they are. Okay, and if you don't like it, unsubscribe, go watch somebody else, man. We don't give a fuck. We give you the truth over here. Okay? And that's what you always see. You always see these know-nothing ass niggas, these YNs, they always got a bitch. And the broad be looking halfway decent. Always got a woman, man. Because the 2/3 got their own pile of women, man. The Lord is really preserving the woman that he's going to give mercy to, and to the men that he has predestinated, you know, in the very near future, in due time, man. So the Lord is really preserving the actual woman for his men. And you'll also have, you know, some whores and sluts and stuff like that, as Yahweh Shai stated, that's going to actually repent and really be sincere and have humility when they repent. Okay? So this woman is supposed to be put to death, man, according to the law, man. Because again, she stabbed him in his leg, and as they stated, well, she didn't know that she had an artery. Of course she didn't know she had an artery. But again, she could have literally just slit Or matter of fact, Salaki, she should have just not been with this dude. But again, y'all like stuff like this. Y'all like a dude that, you know, just a fake thug, man. Because y'all think that's masculine. Okay, but again, you see the love of many waxing cold, man. Let's grab that. It's a basic lesson, basic precepts. Okay. St. Matthew's 24, verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, okay, sin upon sin, transgression upon transgression, iniquities, they piling up. Okay, because everybody's losing their damn mind out here, man. And things is only progressing to get worse. It's not going to get better. Things are going to get worse because a lot of these people out here, you know, they in the spirit of they have nothing to lose, man. They have nothing to lose and nothing to gain. So it's really going to be a heavy spirit of carelessness out here too, man. Ain't nobody going to have no mercy, no sympathy, no compassion, no empathy for one another, man. You know, wait till, you know, the famine really hits. Wait till, you know, the government really starts hitting people's pockets and all these things, the pestilence, everything, man. You're really going to see, you know, Yahweh Shem Yahweh bring these prophecies to life, man. You're really going to see 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and 2nd Esdras chapter 16, man, in full effect. Okay? You know, as it says, friends shall fight one another, man. Your neighbor's really going to show you that he hates your guts, man. You know, St. Matthew's 24, verse 12, and because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And you're really seeing that love wax cold right now. Psychopaths, man. Okay, nobody, as they say, nobody giving a F-U-C-K, man. Okay, because again, they literally perceive as they don't have nothing to lose. Okay, they've been embracing and told lies for so long that now, you know, everybody's shocked. Everybody's what's that word? Salakia, appalled and, you know, just amazed at the lies that they had been told, man. Okay, so, you know, that love is gone, man. But again, you know, it's a messed up situation. But again, Esau's not supposed to have his nose in no man and woman's business, man, in general. But we know Esau's nosy as hell. He goes to everybody's lands, tell them how to govern they people, how they treat their woman, etc., man. You know? And because, you know, that liberation shit is basically, you know, let your woman be whores and do this and do that, man. And that's going to backfire on a lot of you women here in America, man. Because you're really going to see how it is to fend for yourself. You're really going to see that what you have done for so long, you know, all y'all, you know, picking up your phone, hitting the record button, saying all the stuff that you hate about men, saying that you hate men, this and that and everything else. A lot of y'all done caused men to get put to death, men to get put in jail, etc. All types of things. You done put men on child support, Title 4D. You done broke a lot of men's hearts and everything else, man. So what's written, man, that's going to hit you women hard, man, when all hell really truly breaks loose fully. Okay? You're not going to be able to dial 911. You're not going to be able to seek assistance, seek security, seek help. It's a wrap. Okay? So I'm going to leave it right there, man. You know, I have more precept, but, you know, I'm going to leave it right there. So, hey, man, the judgment of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is the true judgment. You know, we won't have to go through stuff like this in the kingdom, but according to our laws, the woman is supposed to be put to death too, man. Point blank, period, man. So I don't want to rock this out, man. I hope and I pray that this is edifying, uplifting, and informative to the true sincere Aki and Wa'akwa. And also to Salaki, it's a shame to get put to death by a woman. I could have grabbed that precept, but I didn't. So, you know, we'll just leave it there. So with that, I'm just going to say, Shalom.